All right, let's dive into a story that starts with a really simple question about a single state trooper's cell phone, and then spirals into a wild web of high-tech surveillance, alleged corruption, and a brilliant federal strategy you have probably never heard of. So this is the big question, right? In the middle of the massive Karen Reed murder case, you have State Trooper Michael Proctor. He goes from insisting his phone records were gone forever to suddenly handing over everything. How on earth does that happen? Well, the answer might be hiding in some seriously powerful federal tech that most of us have no clue even exists. Okay, so let's set the scene. You've got Michael Proctor. He's the lead investigator in this huge case. And his first story was simple, defiant even. Phone data's gone, it auto-deletes, nothing to see here, folks. But yeah, that story was about to completely unravel. And I mean, things change fast. Just look at this. First, he's saying, nope, data's gone. Then his own lawyer bails, telling the court, hey, my client made me lie. I mean, that's a massive, massive red flag. And then boom. Suddenly, Proctor comes up with a complete copy of 12 years of his phone data. Something or someone clearly backed him into a corner. Yeah, this reversal just doesn't make any sense on its own, right? It practically screams, I got caught. But the question is, how? To figure that out, we have to look way beyond the kind of tech you and I know about and step into the very secretive world of federal surveillance. And that brings us to this idea, this capability that sounds like something straight out of a spy movie. It's called the invisible clone. The theory goes that federal agents can make a perfect copy of someone's phone without ever laying a finger on it. You know, most of us think that the tech the government uses is kind of like the stuff we can buy, just a bit better. That is a huge mistake. We're picturing someone needing to plug in a cable or do some super complicated hack, but the reality is federal capabilities are light years ahead of that. So, how do they pull this off? Well, one of the key pieces of tech is something called a stingray. You can also call it a spoof cell tower. Basically, it's a fake cell tower that tricks your phone into connecting to it instead of a real one. And once you're connected, they can see the data flowing right through. So here's the supposed playbook. First, the feds get a warrant. This is all above board. Then, an agent just needs to get near the target. It could be in a crowd, at a coffee shop, doesn't matter. They use a small pocket-sized device, and within minutes, they've created a perfect digital twin of the phone's entire hard drive. No wires, no pop-up alerts, just a complete copy, and the target has no idea. Okay, but here's where it gets really, really smart. This tech isn't just about finding old evidence of a crime that's already happened. No, it's about setting a trap for a new crime, obstruction of justice. And you really have to get this part. It's not about what's on the phone. Not really. It's about what you hide from it. The feds aren't just looking for that one smoking gun text. They're creating a perfect, time-stamped copy of the entire phone to use as a baseline. The real trap gets sprung later. So here's how the trap works. Step 1, the feds secretly clone the phone. Step 2, they just wait. They let the state investigation do its thing. Then, when the target, say Michael Proctor or another person in this case, Jen McCabe, is officially ordered to turn over their phone data, the feds take that data and compare it to the secret copy they made. Any deleted texts, any hidden files, it's instantly obvious. And that lie, that act of hiding evidence, becomes a brand new, clean, and super easy to prove federal crime, obstruction of justice. Okay, but you might be thinking, this sounds like a whole lot of work, just for one state trooper who lied about some text messages. Why would the Department of Justice bring out this kind of heavy artillery for a local case in Massachusetts? Well, because the theory is, this was never just about Michael Proctor. The idea is that Proctor's phone is just a single thread, and the federal government isn't just trying to pull on one thread, they're trying to unravel an entire tapestry. They're trying to dismantle a whole network of officers who are allegedly bound together by a conspiracy of silence. And to get a sense of just how high the stakes are, listen to how this whole underlying scandal is being described, not just as a problem, but as potentially the worst thing that has ever happened in this state. When you hear language like that, you know we're dealing with something incredibly serious. And this is where the web gets really tangled. You've got Michael Proctor, right? He's being targeted for obstruction. But he's connected to this network that includes another trooper, Matt Farwell, who's accused of the horrific 2021 murder of a pregnant woman, Sandra Birchmore. And then you have other names, like Brian Tully and John Fanning, who are also suspected of being part of a cover-up, leaking records and writing bogus reports to protect their own. And that right there is the whole point. The obstruction trap set for people like Proctor and McCabe, they aren't the end goal. They are leverage. They are powerful tools designed to squeeze people inside this network, to force them to finally break that code of silence and tell the world the full truth about the alleged cover-up of Sandra Birchmore's murder. So you can see how the potential fallout from this federal investigation could be absolutely massive. We're talking about something that could go far beyond just a few individuals and could literally shake the foundations of law enforcement in Massachusetts. Think about this number, 2. It's a chilling number. Because Sandra Birchmore was pregnant when she was killed, the feds have apparently added her unborn child to the charges. What that means is that anyone who is found to have helped cover up that crime could face not 1, but 2 separate charges of conspiracy to commit murder. The pressure to talk, to cooperate, must be absolutely immense. I mean, the potential fallout here is just staggering. You could be looking at sprawling federal indictments against an entire unit of state troopers. You have Matt Farwell, who's facing a potential death penalty. He has every reason in the world to cooperate and start naming names. This could blow the lid off a deep, systemic culture of corruption and abuse. And maybe, just maybe, it's a chance to save the Commonwealth, as they say, and protect people who can't protect themselves.